Right on YouTube. You're back. You're watching UpsideDownDrafting.com. I'm your host, Johnny B. I hope you're well out there. Let's get into week 4 waiver wire gems. But first, as we always do, as we mine for gold, I always like to take a look back at what we've been researching on. We talk about finding the planes, calendaring the time before these players get on your league's radar, before your friends and everybody else on the internet is trying to look for the stud as they grab out there in the league. So we talk about this every show. Your draft was very important. Yes, 57%, but we're in in-season management now. It's a good chunk of your league at 40%. The injury at 3%, that's going up. We all know that is. You got to make it a calendar. You got to make your Tuesdays or your Monday nights some research as you guys deal with this. If you've been following me, I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be. I just love fantasy football. Tariq Cohen, if you were following me preseason or on Twitter, I have this guy in all my leagues, and I'm dominating with him. I'm not sure if you saw that burst of a run he had. Basically, he didn't run out of bounds. I think there was a hold on the play, but the guy's incredible. And if you have Howard on the Bears, look at what he's doing. The O-line of the Bears is still strong. I still like what's going on with both running backs if you should be so fortunate to have. But guys, last week, told you Chris Thompson, he was the top of my list if you're watching the show. I know who he is. I had him in my Dynasty League last year. I did trade him away a little bit too early, but as far as redraft, I hope I helped you, look at him a little bit more last week. If you didn't get him, you know what? There will be more runners out there, but he was a gem, and I really, truly believe he is a nice player for the rest of the league. Geronimo Allison, we talked about him, Green Bay wide receiver. We threw a flyer on him. He was kind of what we said, he's going to go for the deep ball. He emerged last week. We'll see how he does if he trends, but if you got him, that's who I recommended. And then Alex Collins. I've always been high on him since last year. Now he's on the Ravens. And I see some good things, how he can fit into that offense, and the coach likes him. And I think what Harbaugh does in Baltimore is give guys a chance that are working really hard. As far as the Golden Nuggets this week, number 4, reason why you're tuning in, we're going to go Mike Tolbert. This is probably somebody who we should have been talking about last week. I saved him intentionally because I think everyone was going after, most of these other leagues are trailing some of these other players that the mass media and all these other guys are trying to, have you go get. And I think he sneaks through the radar, as everybody's going to try to get Chris Thompson or some other running backs out there. I just think Tolbert, if he's still lingering there, I'm going 35% on him. I like what I see in the backfield for Buffalo. LaShawn McCoy is doing very steady, I think. And I want a piece of that offense if you have room on your bench. I talked about this with another owner today, a friend of mine. If you have 3, even 4 quarterbacks in your redraft league, you guys are crazy. You really only need one solid QB in redraft, okay? And hopefully he's got a bye week of 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever. Don't stash quarterbacks. Don't worry about that. Get these guys. You want to get the nugget runners. That's what we do. Elijah McGuire, that's only because Forte has a toe injury, so he moves up real quick. And the Jets are a young, exciting team. I see the Jets doing way better than what the Giants' future looks like right now. The Giants look old. Their coach doesn't even look like a coach. Giants are, not sure what's going on. So Jets are exciting. And with that, the youth of McGuire is going to set in. And I just think eventually, the Bilal Powells of the world, Fortes, this guy's just going to emerge. And they want to. They're sucking for luck. Remember when Indy was trying to go for luck? The organization wants to lose, but the players don't. The players want to win. It's awesome. So in the Jets camp, if you're fortunate enough to get McGuire, I'd throw some money on him. I got a high percentage there just because I'm stashing at this point, guys. This is 1 month into fantasy football like we talk about. I need 4 or 5 weeks data. And you want to start throwing darts at some of these guys. Jamal Williams, another guy, a rookie, okay? Green Bay has no running game. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. I got news for you. They won't. They don't have... Look... Ty Montgomery is my all-time favorite right now. I picked him up when he was just a rookie in my Dynasty League. He's an awesome player, but I just feel like they don't have that run game. Maybe this is the answer. Who knows? Stash him, get him, 23% fab money. Brandon Oliver is only a fill-in just because, we don't know what's going on with Melvin Gordon's knee. I think it's a bruise. He's probably going to be a popular guy. Maybe he's not so popular on my list right now. I just think because Gordon's so damn good, that I don't know. I'm not sure how Brandon Oliver fits in on my teams, but I just think he's worthy of this list because it is San Diego with Philip Rivers and the whole, remember the old Darren Sproles days and the Woodhead days and that type of thing. So year of the scat back, year of the satellite back. That's why I keep preaching. And then you got Alex Collins, somebody who was very high on last year, probably overly too high just because I got him in every dynasty league and I love how he runs. Baltimore's giving him a chance. John Harbaugh, look at what he's doing. He says, hey, you practice well, you get playing time. You get playing time, you do well, you get more. I don't know what's going on with Buck Allen. I don't know. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens are interesting, man, after what happened this last weekend. All I know is I like Alex Collins a lot. Week 4, wide receivers, Paul Richardson, a name you all know. Everyone knows who he is, and everyone knows the situation with Doug Baldwin, but he is at the top of my list. I don't have any other options this week. I'm not going to give you the obvious ones that everybody else is telling you. I'll put Geronimo Allison back on here for Green Bay, and I'll throw in Taylor Gabriel, only because he's so quick, man. He's so fast, elusive. A lot of people say, well, he's the wide receiver 3 in Atlanta. Man, he's the 2.5. He is really making a name for himself inside the best wide receiver 2 in the league, which is Sanu, obviously. But he's kind of giving Matt Ryan a run for his money, like, hey, throw me the ball. So maybe that guy helps your wide receivers if you're down on that. Here's a very important get via trade. Okay, I always throw these, get on the cheap. We were talking about Geronimo Allison last week. This I'm going to circle because if no one in your league has Chris Godwin, that is a criminal offense. That is a crime. Everyone should have this guy on the team. He was my number 2 overall wide receiver rookie rank this year, and I see him in a lot of leagues. He's available. If you don't get him by trade, I don't know what you're going to do, man, but you're going to have to get him now. This is the time to get him as Jameis Winston builds for the future of these weeks coming up. And I don't want to call it a regression. I think that's such an overly used word for Mike Evans. But just know, Tampa Bay, man, they just got so many guys that they can throw the ball to. And so is that contradicting what I'm saying? No. The reason I like Godwin is he's young, and if Evan gets hurt, boom, this kid's going to step right in. Again, you got room on your waiver wire bench. This is what he's for. Don't be hoarding quarterbacks in a redraft league. Doesn't no good. If anything, trade those, quarterbacks. Why don't you get rid of Carson Palmer? Why don't you get rid of some of these other guys and go get a Godwin on your team? If you don't know who he is, you better check some highlight videos on Chris Godwin because this will be a name you're going to know very, very soon. I like him a lot. Okay, for the tight ends, week 4, I got Ryan Griffin on Houston only because of the injury situation over there. And, I'll throw 25% on him. He's a good stream. He's a streaming tight end for week 4. And get on the cheap, I'm saying Austin Jenkins, tight end, just because, they got no receivers in the Jets. I talked about Robbie Anderson the other day on this last show last week and how, he can stretch the field. And you got, the Jets who really want to win, but the organization wants to lose. So, hey, if the players are still playing, I go for targets, okay? Tight ends, targets, I look for all that depending on how your scoring is. If it's a premium league like I play in, the pro league that a lot of guys play in that I'm with and my buddies, you get 1.5 PPR every time the tight end catches the ball. And that sort of thing you got to look at. How's your point structured? And a guy like him could be the get on the cheap trade for. I don't know how your league structure. You got to look at your points. But those are a couple tight ends I like. The team defense this week I'm recommending if you play team defense is Cincinnati. Very simply. I mean, that's, they're due. They're going to light up, on the defensive side eventually. And when they do, I think they'll blow up this week. And that's what I got for week 4, guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate you supporting the show. And if you got any questions, concerns, let me know. Lineup questions too. But hey, we're entering, week 4 in this thing, and I'm excited about what's to come as we get all the data compiled. We're gonna make a move. Scott Fish, not doing so good. It's my first year in it, but I am, I'm 1-2, so I took a loss this week. It just didn't work out for me. My team is good. I haven't updated my record on this thing, but my team is solid. I'm just not starting the right guys. It's one of those things. Kaiser on my bench. I put DeMarco Murray on my bench. Yes, I did. You're making some different calls on injuries and some of the looks I got, but I'm happy with who I have, and who knows, maybe I can make a shot with some of the guys on this list. James Conner, another guy that can win the league for me if he gets a chance and Le'Veon goes down. Aaron Jones, we haven't talked about him yet, but again, I throw darts at a lot of these runners in the middle rounds. That's how Upside Down Drafting works, to where now any one of these guys break out, I got a pretty good combination of backs. So even with Jamal Charles, I like what's going on there. And Dalvin Cook, my favorite stud. I got Travis Kelce, who had a poor game last week, but then I got Evan Ingram and Austin Cooper. Amari Cooper, no one knows what the hell's going on with this guy right now. Don't worry, just sit tight. He'll come around. And, that's my team in the Scott Fish, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted on this one, but it's a fun league. It sure is an honor to be in it, and I'm super stoked. So that's your week 4, guys. UpsideDownDrafting.com. And then UpsideDownDrafting@gmail.com. Twitter, I'm at UDDWorks. Johnny B, your boy, on YouTube, and I'll be in touch. See you on the next show.